What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with some Destiny 2 Final Shape news. Some of this news is actually kind of ridiculous because turns out people have been playing the Final Shape early on PlayStation, and that isn't clickbait or an exaggeration, it has literally been happening. So Bungie accidentally released the Final Shape on particular platforms. I'll explain that in a moment. Otherwise though, we've got some updates about exotics that we'll find in the Final Shape, some new pursuits that we can unlock, and rewards associated with the Pale Heart. We also have some additional details on Pale Heart itself, and it turns out the Pale Heart will actually be a solo destination, which is pretty wild. Plus we're going to talk about weapons coming in the expansion, details on all of the Prismatic abilities, and we've got a couple of other release related updates in the video today. So as always guys, I hope you enjoy this one and find it useful. If you do, a rating below very much helps us out on the channel. But now let's get into it. And initially, Bungie have sort of messed up somehow and accidentally released the Final Shape expansion pretty much in its entirety for players on PlayStation. So I should mention up front, this is something that Bungie will no doubt put a stop to, and by the time you're watching this video, it probably already isn't a thing anymore. But via PlayStation 5 streaming, Bungie actually managed to release the Final Shape expansion. So players innocently were signing into the game on the streaming version on PlayStation, but when they got to the character screen, they were greeted by the Final Shape. Obviously, we are a few days ahead of the actual launch, and for those of us on PC or platforms where we actually have to download the game, of course, Final Shape hasn't been released, but obviously on the streaming version, Bungie have gone ahead and actually published the content for the Final Shape. Or should I say, they were putting that content in place so that it all works next week, but for whatever reason, it actually went live earlier than it should. So this was shared by Cupcake of Doom on Reddit. We can see they signed in and got the Final Shape start screen, and we can additionally see Red Death right here inside of the episode season pass. We aren't going to go into any further spoilers in relation to the Final Shape, by the way. Some folks, obviously, given that they can peruse through collections and stuff, have been finding out details about raid rewards and other items in the expansion. Obviously, we already knew that Red Death would be on the season pass, so this isn't anything absolutely mind-blowing. But we can also see here the same player actually starting up one of the Final Shape missions. So this is an absolutely wild series of events right here. Never before have we had an actual expansion accidentally release early. Some folks on PlayStation that have managed to get access to Final Shape have claimed that characters have been disappearing on their accounts and stuff like that, so that's possibly the result of Bungie at the back end trying to stop this. And again, as this video goes live, this is probably no longer a thing, but it does open the door for more spoilers and things, which we're no doubt going to see now over the next few days. So let us know your thoughts about it down below. Absolutely wild that something like this would happen, and I'm sure there have been a few tough conversations in the Sony and Bungie studios this morning. So let us know what you think about it down below. Moving on though, seeing as this presumably won't remain to be a thing, and Destiny Bulletin shared that the Final Shape's Pale Heart destination is a completely solo instance, meaning that by default you won't encounter other randoms while exploring. And this was revealed by SkillUp in his preview video. So the Pale Heart is the first patrol zone which is designed as a solo instance. He adds that you can bring a fire team with you, and you can matchmake into the overthrow activities, which is the main sort of destination activity itself. But by default, we're going to load into the Pale Heart solo inside of a private space without any of the matchmaking that other patrol destinations have. So this is very interesting. Obviously, it is going to change the feel of the destination, as having other players around running into folks randomly has always been part of that Destiny social experience. So it's an interesting choice that Bungie have made to go in this direction. It could also be related to progression systems, quests, and sort of unlocks and things that we'll find on the destination as well. But Pale Heart seems to have been specifically designed in this way. So let us know what you think about that down below. Obviously, we'll still have the option to jump in with a fire team. We also got a preview of the Pale Heart map right here via More Consoles video recently. And I spoke yesterday about the Ergo Sum exotic sword, which is something that Bungie teased in a press release via email a few days ago. It's a weapon that we haven't otherwise had a preview of, but it is related to the Pale Heart itself. So spoiler alert right here, I guess is necessary this time. If you don't want to know anything about this one, I would skip the video now, but it turns out that the Ergo Sum exotic sword is related to the Pathfinder, which is the new progression system Bungie are introducing for Final Shape. So it's interesting to know that. And of course, in the spreadsheet for rewards that Bungie shared, they did say that a redacted exotic would be a path completion reward for the first path of Pathfinder. There's also one listed for the second path. I'm not sure if that is just an alternate route to earn the exotic sword, or it could even be for a catalyst or an upgrade, or perhaps a cosmetic item. But ultimately, completing the Pathfinder for Pale Heart will reward one of the exotic weapons for the expansion. So that's a pretty interesting one to learn about, and give us us your thoughts about it down below. Up next though, if you fancy listening to some Final Shape soundtrack bits a little bit early, Bungie and Sony have actually gone ahead and released a couple of tracks, so we can't play them in the video just in case there's copyright material and stuff like that. But I will link a Reddit thread down below that has YouTube links for some of the soundtracks if you want to check them out. Otherwise, we've gotten more details about Prismatic, and we have a list now for all of the different abilities, aspects, and major perks for them. So for the Hunter Prismatic subclass, the supers will consist of Storm's Edge, Golden Gun, Silence and Squall, Silk Strike, and Shadow Shot Deadfall, and Marksman's Dodge, Gambler's Dodge, and Acrobat's Dodge are available in the class abilities, with melee options of Combination Blow, Knife Trick, Withering Blade, and Threaded Spike, as well as Snare Bomb. Then for grenades, Arc Bolt Grenade, Swarm, Duskfield, Grapple, and Magnetic Grenade are up there. Then for aspects, we have Ascension, there's also Gunpowder Gamble, then there's Winter's Shroud, Threaded Spectre, then there is Stylish Executioner. Then for the Titan, supers include Thunder Crash, Hammer of Soul, Glacial Quake, Blade Fury, and Twilight Arsenal, with class abilities Towering, Rally Barricade, and Thruster. Then for melees, Thunderclap, Hammer Strike, Shiver Strike, Frenzied Blade, and Shield Throw will be options, with the Pulse Grenade, Thermite, Glacier, Shackle, and Suppressor Grenades available as well. For aspects though, Knockout, Consecration, Diamond Lance, Drenger's Lash, and Unbreakable will be available. Then finally we get to the Warlock, and supers include Storm Trance, Song of Flame, Winter's Wrath, Needle Storm, and Nova Bomb, which is the Cataclysm variant. And then there is Healing, Empowering Rift, and Phoenix Dive, with Chain Lightning, Incinerator Snap, Penumbral Blast, Arcane Needle, and Pocket Singularity melees available, as well as the Storm Grenade, Healing, Cold Snap, Threadling, and Vortex grenades. Then for aspects, Lightning Surge, Helion, Bleak Watcher, Weaver's Call, and Feed the Void will be available. So it's going to be a real mixed bag playing with Prismatic. Let us know your thoughts below. Very final mention though, and Destiny Bulletin posted an article right here from a spreadsheet provided by Fallout Plays that lists all of the weapon perks for the Pale Heart destination weapons. So it's pretty wild that we can see pretty much the full perk potentials for all of these weapons. For a brief rundown of the Pale Heart weapons themselves though, there is the Call sidearm, and it's a rocket-assisted frame sidearm with strand damage, but additionally there's the False Idol's sword, and that's a vortex frame coming with solar damage. But we also have the Pro Memoria heavy machine gun, which is aggressive frame with strand damage, as well as the Embraced Identity sniper rifle, and that's an adaptive frame with void damage. There are quite a few of these weapons though. There's also the Axial Lucana fusion rifle right here, and that's a precision frame with solar damage, as well as the Someday, which is a new shotgun with precision frame kinetic damage. But the last couple of destination weapons include Bold Endings, which is the hand cannon, and that's a heavy burst hand cannon with stasis damage. And finally, there is the No Hesitation, which is the healing auto rifle, the support frame, which is a flexible and agile frame capable of healing allies and hurting foes. Harming targets will build a restorative charge, and hip-firing allies while the weapon is charged heals them, with rapid healing increasing weapon damage and bestowing restoration to allies. So that sounds interesting, and also that one comes with solar damage. But additionally, we've learned that from the episode content, the Better Devils hand cannon, as well as the Origin Story auto rifle, and Shadow Price auto rifle will return, so those are all the Vanguard weapons. Plus, there's the linear fusion rifle called Scintillation, which is an adaptive burst, and that looks like it'll be a Nightfall weapon. You can see it comes with strand damage, and finally, there is the Hush bow as well. But these will be episode weapons. Plus, we've learned that Season of Dawn weapons will be returning too. So a fairly substantial list of weapons in terms of legendaries overall right there. Let us know any you're looking forward to, but once again, if you're curious about perk rolls, they are in a blog post which I will link below. So for today guys, that's what we have to talk about. Pretty wild series of events in terms of the game actually releasing early. Not something I anticipated happening, but let us know your thoughts down below. As always, if you've enjoyed the video, a rating really does help us out as well. But otherwise, I very much appreciate you tuning in today, and whatever you get up to, I'll catch you guys very soon.